Have you ever heard the saying that once you go full frame, you can't go back? Well, that's a lie, cause like I was going crazy for my first full frame camera, which is the Canon 5D. Yeah, like first time I ever owned a full frame, that was the first Canon 5D, and I'm like, yo, the quality is so good. But many years after, I found myself loving quite a few crop sensor camera, and I've been using a crop sensor camera for a couple months now, and I'm impressed with the quality from that camera. And yo, I have a FX3 and I have a A7 IV. I even have a Blackmagic Pocket 4K, you know, like as relates to like video qualities, those cameras really good. But nevertheless, I went all the way to Fuji. Yes, I've been using the Fuji X-H2 for quite some time now, and hear me out. I know that there is a X-H2S version to this camera, but I really wanted the 40 megapixel. You get me? Because I really wanted the X-H2 for photos only. But when I realized the quality that is coming out of just the 2, I'm like, wow. I never really saw the sense of getting the, you know, the S version of this camera, but the S version is really nice. But I have a FX3, so if I want a dedicated video camera, like I'll just work with the FX3. You get me? So like for the FX3 now, that's more, they call it the cinema type of camera. Doesn't have shutter angle. Yeah, the cinema type of camera. So I wouldn't really bring like a Fuji X-H2S on like a big budget shoot, but you can use it for that purpose. But outside of that, let's talk about why I love this camera. I mean, this is a 10-bit camera, 8K, 4K 60, ProRes internally, Blackmagic RAW externally. I mean, yo, 40 megapixel IBIS for less than 2,500. This is like 2,000 something something, but it's actually, yeah, that's a 2,000. You know that when taxes included and stuff like that. But I'm saying this camera is really amazing, right? So the autofocus is good, but you know it's not so good like a Sony. But yo, it gets the job done, and I don't know. These cameras are so unique. I love the grip. Look at how deep the grip is. Like, I love the grip. I'm waiting on the battery grip to, you know, arrive soon, so I can actually get a like a beefier camera. But it's still lighter than my A7 IV. I'm not sure if I'm just overreacting, but yeah, but I just love how it fit in my hand. And you know, Fuji colors nice, you know, all of that. I use a iMac, right? So as relates to ProRes internally, yo, it works super smooth in Final Cut. Yes, I'm a Final Cut user, not a DaVinci user. Yes, Final Cut is my type of workflow. And as relates to the lens that I use with this type of camera, this is the VILTROX 56 f1.4. Really nice lens, which I hardly use. Yeah, I hardly use it. And I have the VILTROX 23, also f1.4. So this is like my to-go lens when it comes onto this camera. And let me talk about the best combo for this camera, the butter bokeh lens for this camera. That is the VILTROX 75 f1.2. Trust me, like having these two, you know, joined together is like superb quality. And yo, I've been using it for a lot of like corporate events. I've done quite a few shoots with it, you know, as relates to like for the photo aspect of it. Let's say I did a food shoot with it, and the quality that I get from this camera is so nice. You get me? Because I was using it as a top down shot, so I can actually see what it looks like. So when I punch in and see the details of it. And also the camera has a 160 megapixel pixel shift, meaning yo, it takes multiple photos and merge it in one to get that 160 megapixel quality. So the CF Express Type B card is really cheap compared to the Sony Type A cards, which cost an arm and a leg. So I'm like, yo, I can actually get a 512 for less than $200. And for the Type A cards, I don't even want to talk about how expensive they are. But outside of that, yo, the speed of these type of cards for the price, and also using it on a a camera like this is so nice. And yeah, I've been using this for quite some time, and I have no regret in purchasing this camera. And then I still have my Fuji X-H1. Yes, this old boy is still working. Yes, I don't really use it anymore, but I just love it same way. So when I picked up the X-H1, I'm like, yo, I love the grip of it. I don't like the X-T5, and I don't like any other Fuji camera outside of the medium format cameras. Yeah, those are the ones that I love the grip on, those type of camera. But for the X-H1, the XH line, it's just super smooth, feels good. Like, yeah, when it comes down to the whole camera thing, there's like certain type of, no camera is perfect. So for the bad thing about this camera that I really wish Fuji added to it is, like, for example, the first gen had a autofocus and manual focus switch right here, and I'm like, why wasn't it on this one, right? I'm like, yo, why did they remove it? And it's really nice. It's so easy. Instead of go into the setting and then change it yourself, I'm like, not really bothers me. As relates to not having the ISO knob on the left, it's not really a bother for me, but yeah, it's okay. And then as relates to like the record button, which is right here, like I really hate the location of this record button. Like sometimes I press the ISO button and then there's no way of really indicating that you're pressing the record button, right? So I'm like, yo, why? I wish it was somewhere else on the camera. I really wish it was somewhere else on the camera. And I realize that a lot of cameras coming out nowadays comes with the full size HDMI, which is really nice, and it works out best for me because like I hate the micro HDMI. Like, why are people still making them? Like, bro, come on, it's beyond the 20s, you get me? So Type C charging, the whole works of the newer gen type of cameras nowadays. And I would recommend this camera to anybody who's just starting out. Like anybody, if you're just starting out and you want a camera to like, yo, and you're on a budget, I would say start off with the XH2 and a VILTROX 13 1.4 or the VILTROX 23 1.4. Like that's like a nice starter camera, and get yourself some NDs for them really cheap because it's small filter size. Like they're really cheap. And I wish that F-Log2, the ISO, was not 1000. Like, why? Fuji, why? I wish the ISO was like at least 700 or 500, because like the A7C has like although that's a different manufacturer, but the A7C have like minimum ISO is 500. So I'm like, why not 500? That's like a good, I think that's a good ball ground, because like F-Log2 is really good. Like the details and the color science that I get from F-Log2 is really good. So kudos to you, Fuji, for really good F-Log2 but poor ISO option. But who am I? I'm just a consumer. The battery life, I would say that the battery life is really good. It's way better than the first gen, like way better. Like if you can compare battery size, right? So let me show you. So as you can see, this is like the first gen battery size compared to the second gen battery size. Like it's way bigger, lasts longer. But I wish it did last a little bit longer, you get me? Because like the Sony battery, it's a really good battery life. But trust me, like using ProRes on this, like it sucks battery so fast, and I've never had any overheating issue. I've never had any form of overheating issue. And you can add a fan to it if you think you're going to have an overheating issue. And sometimes overheating normally happens like if the LCD screen is in the temperature, like the location of where you live and stuff like that. Like if you find yourself, you know, the camera's going to over, you just buy the fan for it, because I don't remember the price, but I put up the price of the fan on the screen. So yo, all right, so done. So guys, that's it. That's my short and spicy long-term review of the Fuji X-H2. You get me? And I'll see you guys in another video. I don't know where I'll be. It's been a while since I've even done any video in here, but yo, I'm out. Peace.